Alright, hey everyone, Andrew Morrison here. Welcome to my channel. In today's video, I'm super excited to just dive right in and share and discuss my top astrological predictions and insights for the month of April. And this is going to be a very, very big, very significant month, I should say, to say the least. So definitely stay tuned and listen to this video all the way throughout. If you are brand new to me, I help men and women to essentially step into their power and their worth so they can elevate their income, wealth, careers, and relationships all completely through the power of astrology. So if you are brand new to me, definitely subscribe, hit the bell and the like button below. I've been practicing astrology for several years, and I've studied this ancient science for pretty much my whole life. That's why I'm so deeply, deeply passionate about this science called astrology. And on that note, furthermore, I've had a Facebook group actually. I've been doing these monthly predictions, and I also do this on a yearly basis as well. I've been doing my predictions and my astrological forecast for several years now. And if you are interested in being a part of my private Facebook group, again, I've had that for several years. And what's great about it is you can go back several years and you can see how consistently thorough and on the target I have been with my astrology predictions and insights. So it's a great group to be a part of. It's a great community, and we meet people all around the world. I always like to mention that if this does seem of interest to you. I do, and I still am doing astrology readings and consultations. And so if you are needing that, I love to work with you. But again, space is limited. I only do a few readings and consultations for those astrology readings every single month. And so I just really want to stress the point that space is limited. And the best way to actually schedule that reading with me, again, all my readings are completely private, but the best way to schedule that is to send me an email, which is always posted in the description down below. All right, now moving into the month of April 2022, a really great starting point for today's video is I really want to connect back to my astrology forecast, yearly forecast videos that I did towards the end of last year. I did about 5 videos of those. So again, if you are brand new to my channel, definitely check out those videos because I shared so many major significant predictions and insights for this upcoming year and this year specifically. And in those videos, furthermore, I talked and I spent so much time discussing how in this month specifically of April, the energy will start to move and shift in so many major and drastic ways. And again, this energy will start to change specifically around the second half of April this month. So, on one hand, there's a lot of exciting energy coming into the picture, but on the other hand, unfortunately, I do foresee that there will even be more of this aggression, anger, and warlike energy. So there is still going to be this continuation of all of that and a lot of heavy and dark type of energy that will extend pretty much for the remainder of this year and also bleed into next year, the following year to come as well. And one thing I also really discussed as well in greater detail and greater focus about this year as well is that there's sort of this yin and yang type of existence in the sense that on one hand there's a lot of this dark, heavy, and warlike energy, but on the other hand there's a lot of this lightness and this love, compassion, love for humanity, understanding for other people's problems, and again, a lot of compassion. And not only that, in those yearly forecast videos that I put out, I labeled this year specifically as the year of higher consciousness. So there's definitely a strong spiritual component and spiritual energy for the remainder of this year. And again, this really starts to kick in more so starting this month specifically. So again, this is a major month, and so many of my clients are starting to feel the major shifts of energy and things of that nature. So I cannot stress the point enough that this is going to be one of the biggest years, especially as far as how the energy is all starting to move in so many new directions, and so much more movement is about to come into the picture. Now, another really amazing thing that is also very profound, and something I also it's really important that I also discuss in today's video, is that in the month of April, as well as May as well, but starting in April, there's also a lot of this creative and artistic energy as well. And I also did talk about that in my yearly forecast video, just as another mentioning as well. So you have to understand that during times of chaos, confusion, and crisis, for example, that is oftentimes when artists, bands, musicians, really anyone that is in any form of creative field, they start to come together and really put out these incredible works of art. And we are actually already starting to see that. For example, just throwing out a pop cultural example here, we're already starting to see so many great popular bands and musicians and artists that we haven't, well, I should say humanity hasn't heard about in, a really long time, at least 10, 15, 20 years ago. A lot of those very popular singers, musicians, bands are coming back on the scene and really starting to put out more albums and really, profound works of art, to say the least. So it's a really exciting time if you are tuning in, even if you aren't a musician per se, but if you are really trying to develop or enhance any of your creative talents, your creative and artistic skill sets, this month of April and also May as well, and also the rest of this year is a really optimal, perfect time right now to really kind of hone in and start to uh, really be open and really be an open vessel for really a lot of creative inspiration, and to get really fired up artistically right now. There's so much creative and artistic energy really brewing, and that will about to come into the picture as well. So that is also something very exciting that I also really wanted to put strong emphasis about the month of April. But of course, it's not just April. This will be a continuing trend and pattern to come in the upcoming weeks ahead. Now, in the middle of April this month, we have a very emotional, turbulent full moon happening around April 16th. And so that will be a very emotional day, which also happens to be, if you live in the US, that's very close to obviously tax day of this year. But again, the full moon of this month will be very emotional, and not just on a personal level, but on a global level, we could see actually some very chaotic and turbulent weather and weather patterns, and possibly storms around that time, are really just all in all some chaotic and destructive weather patterns. And that is also most likely why, and what I'm also picking up as well. But the energy on the full moon in the middle of this month, happening around April 16th, it just seems like the energy seems really out of control, and there will be some sort of emotional upheaval and possibly some catastrophic events. All right, now furthermore, talking about catastrophic events, I know it's very dark and depressing, and this can be a very uncomfortable subject matter for a lot of people to talk about, just because a lot of people have known someone that has died from this situation. But what also looks very catastrophic, that I definitely feel like April will also trigger, is unfortunately, I do feel like there will be a huge influx and rise in, I'm just going to say it, overdoses. So not just drug overdoses, but obviously alcohol, substance, anything related to that whole category. I definitely feel like there will be a rise in all of that, and especially if you do live in the U.S. Now, interestingly enough, if you are an American tuning in and you do live in the States, for example, you probably already have been well aware that America has seen a rise in overdoses, and it's getting really out of hand. But I definitely feel like it's even going to get worse. So that is something that I also am foreseeing as well, that is very important for me to address in today's video. But all in all, as I keep mentioning here, April is a huge, huge month, and it's one of the biggest months of this year. There's so much changing, there's so many new energies, new directions, and a whole lot more movement that is about to come in. So I hope you found today's video very helpful, and I'd love to hear your key takeaway light bulb moments for my astrology forecast for April of this year. I love to hear your light bulb moments in the comment section down below. Thank you so much for tuning in and listening to this video today, and I'll see you in the upcoming videos ahead. Thank you.